Hello, good evening, and my name is Sazwan Afiq bin Muhammad Azri. My matrix number is 20229469995, and I'm from group HM242182. And for topic of today, I would like to present about the fur coats should be illegal. And let's go through for the first slides. Now, making fur clothing should be banned because the clothing itself costs a lot of money, as well as billions of animals suffer and die every year for the use of clothing and accessory. Their skin is torn from them to make leather, and even small animals are caged for life before being killed for their fur. Now, sheep are often beaten and mutilated by workers stealing their wool and their skin for shelling. All this is done for the name of fashions. And no matter what type of materials or where it comes from, if the process involves an animal, it involves horrific cruelty, which I find very unacceptable and should be stopped right away, as this will affect the environment. Now let's go through the second slides. Here are the impact of using animal fur coats and fashions towards environment and health. For the first point is local pollution. The local impact of fur farms leads to degradation of the land, rural life, property values, and economic activity, plus waste runoff seeps into soils and waterways, causing severe damage to local ecosystem. Fur farms worldwide are consistently reported to violate environmental regulation. Manure, extra feeds, and carcass get thrown into wetlands, while runoff from the fur farms ships into watersheds. And do you know that in 2015, following complaints from Lithuanian residents of the intensively fur farm district, Siolisiai, 31 local fur production facilities were inspected. Alarmingly, each of the 31 fur farms were found in the breach of waste disposal regulation and causing severe ecological damage. A follow-up investigation in the same region in 2016 reported 12 out of 19 fur factory farms in violation of environment regulation. Point number 2 is biodiversity loss. The injuring and killing of non-target animals by body gripping traps pose a severe threat to endangered species. Also, escaped predatory animals from fur farm cause a decrease of local biodiversity. Historically, the fur trade has had a severe impact on biodiversity and is responsible for the depletion and even extinction of the several fur species, including the seamings. As an example of the fur trade's irresponsible attitude towards the environment, all the big cats in the wild and many of their smaller cousins are now in danger and protected from further exploitation due to a larger part to the excess of the fur trade past. The traps used to catch wild animals are notoriously indiscriminate and can result in non-target species, some of which may be classified as endangered or threatened, being caught, injured, or killed. And last but not least, the toxics in fur. The hazardous toxic used in the process of conserving, bleaching, and dyeing belts pose an overall threat to the health of consumers wearing the products and to workers in fur processing plants. So basically, after an animal is skinned, the pelt has to be treated with a variety of chemicals to prevent it from decay. Just as with the processing of leather, this involves toxic environment and heavy metals. Fur tanning and greasing contribute to the environmental pollution with toxics such as formaldehyde, linked to leukemia, chromium, linked to cancer, and ammonia. Now let's go through for the satisfaction. Here are the 4 things that can be done to stop animal cruelty in the clothing industry. The first one is to support vegan alternative. One of the best ways to stop animal cruelty in the clothing industry is to start supporting the brands that have chosen to avoid animals product altogether. In 2022, there are vegan alternatives to virtually any materials of animal origin, and you won't have to look far to find plenty of vegan-friendly jumpers, coats, and boots. Number two is to make your voice heard. Public pressure works. That is the main reason why down giant Canada Goose has given up fur, and as of January 2022, Montclair have announced they will do the same. One of the best ways to make an impact is to make your voice heard, and contact major brands directly on social media, urging them to leave all barbaric practice behind and apply for cruelty-free certification. Number three is to only buy certified down, which is just like wool and cashmere. The best way to ensure that your down jacket has been manufactured ethically is to look for an animal welfare certification. The Responsible Down Standard (RDS) was launched by the popular brand North Face and remains the most reliable certification to this day. In as from what I understand, that in order to qualify, down manufacturers have to avoid all live plucking, force feeding, or rough handling. The next slide is the visualization. I would like you all to visualize the impact of using animal fur, the advantage and disadvantage, the pros and cons, the positive and negative impact. So let's go through about the advantage of it. The first one is it provides products people use every day. It is a mistaken belief that fur is the only part of the animal used by the society. Often, nearly the entire animal is used. Most animal caught by Illinois for hunters and trappers are sold to fur buyers. About 85% of the fur industry skins come from animals living captive in fur factory farms. These farms can hold thousands of animals, and their farming practices are remarkably uniform around the globe. The second advantage is to reduce wildlife overpopulation. When wild animals become too numerous, they can cause problems for humans. In that case, wildlife overpopulation can lead to parasitism such as mange, as well as diseases such as rabies and distemper. Some diseases and parasites such as rabies and mange can affect people and pets. And do you know that? According to the World Wildlife Fund's Living Planet Report 2020, nearly 21,000 monitored population of mammals, fish, birds, reptiles encompassing almost 4,400 species around the world. It has been declined an average of 68% between 1970 and 2016. The disadvantage about it is the endangered species are killed for fashion. Fashion threatens many of these wildlife species, especially those endangered species with extinction. It's very common for wildlife and endangered animals to suffer immense pain being trapped, caged, and skinned alive to make textiles, but luckily, organizations such as the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) Red List of threatened species provide information about use, threat, and threats to encourage action for biodiversity conservation. Many wild animals are protected by law under the Endangered Species Act (ESA). And last but not least, the leather mass. The leather industry has been brutally slaughtered billions of animals. Every year for fashion, 2.29 billion cows, calves, buffaloes, goats, and pigs were killed for their hides and skins to make leather in 2018. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations (FAO), 159 million animals are slaughtered to make leather, and each year in the United States, that number is 4 times higher than in the year 1980. And last but not least, the actions. For me, the best way to stop fur farming is to ensure that you do not buy any fur products, including any products using fur trims, and take extra precautions even when buying fox fur, because there are very few countries that have regulation or laws against fur farming, and because of that, We must pressure our government to end this cruelty for the sake of fashion, economic greed, and status. Some of the international law are devised entrenched, but a few countries have strictly regulated or completely banned fur farms, such as Australia, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Sweden. And for me, animals need their fur coats more than we do. That is all from me. Thank you.